It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Time for us to talk relationships, shall we? Now, there is a belief that's almost as old as time itself that men and women can never be just friends. Now, there are many opinions on why this belief seems to never fade, as well as detailed research looking into the benefits and difficulties of intergender friendships. In a moment where men and women are frankly discussing the impact of such notions, it's the best time to truly discover, is this still true? Can a man and a woman be friends? Just friends. And of course, do you have a good friendship with someone of the opposite sex where things have remained strictly platonic? While our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, is in the building to help us navigate this very hot topic. And of course, if you have a question or comment, do weigh in by calling us on 021-430-9881 with your questions or your comments, and we will engage with you. This is a very safe space. We love Relationship Mondays. Welcome, Dr. Eve. So good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Oh, I love this topic because this is a question that I have struggled with throughout my entire adult life.
Do share with me,
But before we share, let's just get into it.
Yes.
Is it true that a man and a woman can't be friends? Because a lot of the times I think women say, you know what, when a man is interested in you, he can't be friends with you, because there's this whole sexual tension thing and you can't navigate beyond that. Is that the truth? Is that still true?
Isn't that just kind of just patronizing to men? And I also, before we even get into this male-female thing, I want to expand it from a heterosexist model into a non-heterosexist model, because we also have to include people who are in same-sex relationships. Do they feel the same way as well? So what I want to do, Leanne, is I want to give you kind of a bit of a history of why this is so topical and why this is a discussion that we're having now. We wouldn't have had this 10, 20 years ago. So what started this conversation was back in the day when marriages were just marriages between men and women. Women knew their place, that they were just there to be working and taking care of children and be a wife. And men were out and they were working and maybe having affairs with secretaries or whatever. But there wasn't such a thing as friendships outside of that traditional system. So when feminism really kicked in and women went into the workplace, suddenly men were now sitting opposite a woman and seeing them as a friend and as a colleague, and not just as a wife or a potential wife or a sexual partner. And that's where this whole discussion really happened and began to change, which I think is now pretty fascinating. That we then began to see each other as potentially platonic. And that, I think, is where the difficulty came in, or where I want to believe we can dispel the myth that men and women, or women, men can't just be friends. Of course, we should still be able to be friends, but there are big struggles, and I'm depending on our viewers to tell us what their struggles are.
Well, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to open up the lines. We want to hear what your struggles are, because we all have them. Like I said, this is a very safe space. Can men and women be just friends? Do you have a good friendship with someone of the opposite sex, where things have remained strictly platonic? We want to open up the floor to you. That number is 021-430-9881. Call us with your questions or your comments for Dr. Eve.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, we are back with Dr. Eve. We're talking relationships, and can a man and a woman really be friends? Of course, we gave you the opportunity to give us a call on 021-430-9881, and we certainly hope that you'll do that, because it is a very safe space. I want to talk about expectations first and foremost, Dr. Eve, because I think that's the problem. We walk into a scenario, a friendship situation with a person, and there's already an expectation. And I'm going to be honest with you, many times where I've wanted to be friends with someone, I've been told I can't be friends with you because I like you.
That's what the other person would say that
I'm sorry, I just can't be friends. And I was like, wow, that's actually quite sad, because you're really giving me no opportunity here. You're either saying it's either take a relationship with me or I'm done.
I think it's like the old model of, and here I'm going to be very sexist, of men not being able to control their sexuality. And so if I'm going to be friends with you, if I feel some kind of attraction, then I can't be friends with you because something's going to develop. So what I want to do is I do want us to slip into the friend zone conversation. And I really would love our listeners to, our viewers, we're saying listeners, to tell us about this friend zone. Because this is quite a new concept,
It's quite a new
right?
concept. Talking about viewers wanting to talk to us, we've got
Yes.
Anita on the line from Cape Town. Anita, good morning. What is your question or comment for Dr. Eve?
I've got a comment is that I am friends. I do have a few male friends and I'm married. And when I got married, some of my friends, I was single before, obviously when I met them, and then got married. But I've always had conversations with my male friends, and it was about establishing clear boundaries and saying to them that, this is a friendship, and respecting those boundaries. And obviously, if it is that we feel that the boundaries, or I feel that boundaries are being transgressed, be able to say to the individual, I don't feel very comfortable with this. We have established that these are the boundaries that we're going to have in this friendship, and we're going to respect that. My husband is fully aware of the fact that I had friendships with males. And because of our relationship being very trusting and it's open and we have dialogue also, he's able to know that if I speak openly about that I'm meeting so-and-so or that I've met or saw someone. And he knows that he's able to trust me, but we always have dialogue, we always have conversations, and we always kind of affirm that these are, especially with my male friends, that these are the boundaries that need to be respected. And so yes, it is like a possible for us to have those kind of friendships, but I think that respect must always be there, and there must be a recognition also, and I think also a self-awareness about whether or not you are acting in accordance to what you subscribe to, what is important to you as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anita. Thank you so much for that. And it is about boundaries and setting those very early on in the friendship. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree with you completely, and that Anita has kind of wrapped it up very prettily. That the solution to it is setting boundaries, and what you added on is early on in the relationship. But that doesn't mean that feelings don't develop and things can't change as we go along. What I was thinking as I was listening to Anita is that sometimes, even with same-sex friendships, because friendships are really deep and intimate connections, and they recognize, certainly in research today, how important intimate friendships are. Same-sex, even if it's not a sexual thing, and how that can also interfere in your relationship, because you can be spending a lot of time on WhatsApp with your friend while you've got your lover, boyfriend, partner in bed with you. So whether it's a male or a female, does it make a difference? And I want to challenge the viewers around that. Does it make a difference? Your partner's going to get somewhat jealous around that. Is it just because it's opposite sex, or would it be with your same-sex friends as well? But let's go back to Anita's point, is that it is really possible to do it if you set the boundaries, yet feelings can change, because feelings change when we spend more and more time with somebody. And then things can get out of the friend zone. And that's when it becomes a little difficult. I do want to also just define what friend zone is for people who maybe are not really that familiar with the term. So it is incompatible or mismatched sexual and emotional attraction to each other. So it's like one person saying, I really do feel attracted, and the other one says, I don't. Well, okay, I'm going to put you into the friend zone because I don't want to lose you, but I'm going to keep you there as a friend.
We're going to talk more about that just after the break. We're going to take a very quick break. We are talking relationships, and can a man and a woman...
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
We're back in the hot seat with our relationship expert, Dr. Eve. This is Expresso right here on SABC3. And the question of the day is, can men and women just be friends? Of course, our lines are open, so please do give us a call if you have any burning questions. That number 021-430-9881. Dr. Eve.
I'm just getting tweets coming through, which
it's all good. We brought Zoe into the conversation because Zoe, I feel like Zoe has a burning question. Zoe, what is your burning question for Dr. Eve, or comment?
Well, no. I personally think men and women can just be friends. I have many male friends where, we've gone for dinner, we've gone for coffee, and that was it. But Dr. Eve, you say there are a lot of benefits to having just that friendship, that platonic friendship.
Exactly. I mean, the relief of putting it out, as Anita said, putting it out, this is not going to be sexual, this is where it's going to stay. And are you willing to accept that? You have to give that person the opportunity to be able to say yes or no, or like, I really can't because the attraction is too much, and so it's going to be difficult for me. So that is stated as one of the reasons why friend zones are like really positive things. You can go for dinner, and there is then also an open conversation on who's going to be paying. There's also talking about, getting information about the opposite sex. Is that how, you know, guys would react? Is that how women would react? Being able to confide in this person, feeling that this isn't, and there isn't an ulterior motive that's really going down. There isn't competition over here between the two of you. You're not chasing anything different. It really is a thing of, this is my person.
I so much want to meet a guy who just wants to be friends.
You'll meet him.
No, seriously, like
Yeah.
you meet somebody, they're like, hey, let's go out for lunch or dinner. Awesome, have a great conversation.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, hey, yo, you know, can we see where this is going? I'm like, no, I want to be your friend. But we do have Anonymous on the line. Anonymous, good morning. What is your question for or comment for Dr. Eve?
Good morning.
Hi.
I have a best friend. We get along very well. And actually, pardon, good morning, ladies. So, she's my best friend. We do festivals, we do galleries, we do museums, we're both artists. And the problem comes when we are in relationships. The other people do not necessarily understand that we are as good friends.
Yeah.
And they always think negative of or something bad will happen. But yet we are, this is my best friend, she's like my sister.
Yeah.
We look out for each other. I would rather have female friends because female friends, they call you on your birthday, you get birthday gifts. Guys don't do that. I would rather have female friends.
That's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Anonymous.
He raises such a very, very important point, which is, what do you do when you get into a relationship with a significant person? What do you do with all the other friends? And the solution to that is you want to introduce them to each other so that there isn't this jealousy element and you don't have to throw away friends. I think it's, you know, it's a ridiculous notion that you should throw away friends because the other person is too insecure to be able to manage you spending time. As long as there's transparency and honesty around this, why can't we just be friends with people?
But it kind of lends to the idea that people have that it's impossible for a man and a woman to be just friends without there being any sexual stuff going
undertones.
on, and you just genuinely like, this is my buddy, you know?
Yeah. So, but then things shift because things work organically. And then what happens when there is catching of feelings and suddenly there may be one night with too much alcohol and then there is kind of a little sexual interlude that is thrown into the friendship? What do you do with that? And then what also happens is that if you then shift it, like we really like each other, and actually we are really attracted to each other, we don't want to be dating anyone else, and let's try turn this into something more sexual. There could be a situation where they then still see you primarily, or you see them as friend, and then you get into the confusion of like, are we now just friends with benefits? Or are we in a relationship, or are we dating, or is this significant? Is this friend label ever going to go away? And am I going to feel used because now we're really good friends, but also I'm being used for sex? And is this committed, or can I have other sexual partners? Things get very messy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
If you
messy.
allow it to get messy.
If you allow it to get messy, it has potential to get really messy. The other kind of combination which is interesting is for men with male friends. Because are you going to be brave enough to be having a male friend if you self-identify as a heterosexual male? Can you be friends with another man, or are you afraid that society is going to think you're gay? I mean, you know, because you think that there's something wrong with gay if you're homophobe. So do men have friends with men? And can ladies have friends with ladies, even if they're not in a sexual relationship, or once you break up a sexual relationship? I mean, there are just so many permutations
So
to
many.
this.
I think we need to have part 2 of this conversation next week, because I just think that
friends.
it's so broad. We
Yeah.
can definitely just continue chatting about it. But thank you so much, Dr. E, for
Yeah.
being with us. And of course, delving into this abyss of a question: can a man and a woman truly be friends?